Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you all are having a wonderful Thursday. We've got quite the slate today. We've got two winter storms that we are keeping track of. One moving from the Midwest to the Northeast, and another that's moving into California tomorrow. We also got a severe weather threat that will be coming from that second system over in the plains that we'll be briefly talking about. And then afterwards, we'll get into what you can do, whether you're under a winter storm threat or a severe weather threat. Looking at an overview, you can see lots of areas of winter weather. You can see that huge band of winter precipitation stretching from the upper Midwest all the way into New York and New England. And you can start to see that California winter system beginning to move in. Going on to the day 2 graphic, you can now definitely see that California system moving in, as well as some thunderstorms across the southeast. And then going into day 3, you've got that California system continuing to move in, making a mess of things, moving into Nevada, Arizona, and into Utah. Moving on to our hazards outlook, you can see all of those hazards piling up across California and the Southwest. You can also see that severe weather threats on Sunday in the Great Plains, and then some more threats in the Northeast, actually associated with that second system, that will then move across the country. Looking at our current conditions, this is a map of all of the warnings, weather warnings across the country. You can see that first system up in Minnesota, Wisconsin, the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, heading into New York and New England. Everywhere in pink, those are your winter storm warnings. The purple are going to be your winter storm watches, and the red is your high wind advisories. And you can see just that line across the upper Midwest. You can also see just that mess that is California. Lots of places in California with winter storm warnings and watches, as well as Nevada and Arizona. National Weather Service in San Diego actually issued their first ever blizzard warning. And I believe the National Weather Service in Los Angeles issued their first ever blizzard warning since 2006, I think. Looking at that first system, currently affecting the Midwest and Northeast, we can see that periods of heavy snow will continue this morning. This was actually about 12 hours ago, so this is probably already passed. But snow has been continuing to affect the Midwest and northern Great Lakes. Now heading into the Northeast, snow is pretty much, like I said, pretty much begun to wind down across the upper Midwest by this point. Heavy snow rates of about an inch an hour and wind gusts of 30 to 40 miles per hour with great blizzard and whiteout conditions, nearly impossible travel, and may result in additional power outages and tree damage. A stripe of freezing rain is also on tap across parts of the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and Northeast. Some localized ice accumulations greater than a quarter inch are possible, especially in portions of western and central Massachusetts. This will lead to treacherous travel conditions and scattered power outages in the region of heaviest freezing rain. And frigid temperatures will stick around in the wake of the storm system as snow and ice both conclude by Friday morning. Wind chills at times will be below 0 from the upper Midwest to the interior Northeast, both Friday and Saturday mornings. I forgot to point it out actually, but there are also wind chill warnings in place for North Dakota, Montana, Idaho Panhandle, and eastern Washington. Meant to point that out on the previous slide with all the warnings. Moving on to our overall winter storm impacts, days up to 3 days out. We'll get to the California system in a moment. This slide will come back up again, but you can see that stretch of still minor winter storm impacts across the upper Midwest, Minnesota, Wisconsin, upper peninsula of Michigan. And then now heading into the Northeast, few areas of that are rated minor across New York, Western Massachusetts, Vermont, and a huge area of Maine, pretty much almost the entire state. Next up is our 48-hour snowfall accumulation. Once again, we'll get back to California in a moment, but you can see lots of areas in the upper Midwest still are going to be seeing over the next couple of days about at least 4 to 6 inches of snow, those blues, those whites, and heading into New England, looking at, I believe, around 5 to 6 inches in some areas as well. Next up is our 24-hour ice accumulation. This one's pretty much kept to the northeast at this point, as aforementioned, western and central Massachusetts, especially you might see a lot of ice accumulation from freezing rain. You can also see that extending into southern Vermont and upstate New York. And now looking at our maximum wind gusts, we can see that across the northeast, you can see those purples and reds. Those are 40 to 50 miles per hour. And then over on the California system, you can see some of those yellows getting to 60 miles per hour for certain localized areas. And looking at our day 1 minimum temperatures, this is for today. You can see across the northeast, you got temperatures around the 20s, getting down into the teens. Upper Midwest, more closer to 0, and especially the Dakotas, Montana, well below 0, minus negative teens, negative 20s in those areas, prompting those wind chill warnings just by nature of the temperature being so low. And now looking at our day 2 minimum temperature, this is for tomorrow. We can see that area of colder temperatures is more widespread. Northeast looking more closer to single digits, 20s up down into Pennsylvania and Ohio. Midwest still lingering around single digits as well. And looking over at California, you got temperatures down, especially even along the coast, close down pretty low into the low 40s, upper 30s, and obviously on higher elevations, more localized colder temperatures. Switching our focus over to the California storm, and see that a dynamic winter storm will bring in a surge of moisture through the end of this week as cold temperatures remain over the region. Heavy rain and prolific mountain snow are likely today into Friday, with significant impacts to travel and infrastructure. Lower snow totals may bring significant snowfall to areas where snow is unusual. So even if you don't usually see snow from these California winter systems, you might be seeing a bit more than normal, so be prepared for that. Windy conditions throughout the state will lead to blizzard conditions in some mountainous terrain and passes, and blowing dust is possible in desert areas. Once again, the National Weather Service of San Diego issued their first ever blizzard warning, which is quite significant. And temperatures will be well below normal over most of the region, with below freezing readings possible in some coastal areas in northern California. And strong rip currents and high surf will be hazardous to swimmers and beachgoers if for some reason you're going to the beach at this time of the year. And now moving back over to our overall winter storm impacts, you can see a large strip of extreme impacts across the mountainous areas of California, and even moderate and major winter storm impacts are expected in lots of areas of California that don't usually see that level of impacts from winter storms. And you can see the moderate and major impacts also stretching into portions of Nevada and Arizona. Looking at our excessive rainfall outlook, this is for Friday. You can see a large area of the LA metro under a moderate risk of excessive rainfall, and those risks stretching out even down into San Diego, up to the Mexico border. Still expected to see about 5 to 10% chance of excessive rainfall. So definitely pretty significant for this area of the country. And looking at our 72-hour precipitation totals, you can see 5 to 6 inches possible in some areas of the LA metro, and even surrounding that 3 to 4 inches possible pretty much across the entire metro. Going down to San Diego, still about 2.5 inches possible of rainfall, very significant for these areas that don't really receive conditions like this. And looking at our 48-hour snowfall accumulation, you can see that huge strip of 40 inches plus across those California mountains, as well as some of those localized mountains down in Southern California. And you can see areas of around 3 inches still significant in Northern California, some of those areas that don't usually see significant amount of snowfall. And lastly, moving on over to our severe weather threat for Sunday, we have a 30% risk of severe weather from the Storm Prediction Center on Sunday for the Plains region, central Oklahoma, and 15% risk encompassing that across Kansas and Texas, as well as portions of eastern Missouri and western Missouri and northwestern Arkansas. So what can you do for wherever you are being impacted by these systems? If you're caught outdoors in a winter storm, make sure to find shelter. If there is no shelter, it may sound very primitive, but build a lean-to or find a snow cave for protection. Build a fire for heat. Once again, it sounds very primitive, but these can legitimately help save your life. Make sure to cover exposed sweaty parts and try to stay dry. This will help protect against hypothermia and also just a ton of other things. Make sure to melt snow for drinking water. Don't eat unmelted snow. It can lower your body temperature to deadly levels. And make sure to exercise occasionally. Move your limbs, extremities, fingers, toes vigorously to keep you warm. If you're driving, make sure to take it slow. Clean off your vehicle before driving. Flying snow from cars does cause accidents, so make sure to clean off your windshield, clean off the roof of your car, the bumper of your car, etc. Make sure to keep it slow and don't use cruise control. You want that to be paying extra attention at the wheel. Roads can be slick even if they just look wet, and make sure to leave extra distance between vehicles. You will need to increase your stopping times and stopping distances, and make sure to stay especially far away from snow plows. Shoveling smart. Shoveling heavy and wet snow can cause back injuries and heart attacks, so don't push yourself. Make sure to dress warmly. Make sure to cover your head, fingers, and toes. Make sure to stay hydrated. Avoid heavy meals right before or after shoveling. Don't try to, get it done as fast as possible by shoveling as much snow on each go as possible. That's a really bad idea and could lead yourself and could very easily lead to an injury. Make sure to only move small amounts of snow with each pass of the shovel, and make sure to take frequent breaks. If you feel completely exhausted, just stop shoveling. Not worth it. Lastly, don't forget your pets. I know there are a lot of people that have very outdoorsy, winter enjoying pets, but even with a natural fur coat, winter can be deadly for your pets unless proper care is given. So make sure to keep them warm and dry and try to keep them indoors. Make sure to provide plenty of food and water. Dehydration is especially dangerous in the winter, and when outside, keep them bundled up. Make sure to try and limit their outside time and thoroughly clean them when bringing them in, including their paws. Moving on over to flooding. Make sure to prepare for flooding before it happens. Ask yourself, are you located in a floodplain? What is the fastest way to higher ground? And what roads nearby are most likely to flood? Very important questions to ask yourself when considering making a plan for flooding and preparing for it. 3 simple steps for flash flood safety. Number 1, get to higher ground. Just get out of the area subject to flooding. Number 2, very important, do not drive into water. Do not drive or walk into flooded areas. It only takes 6 inches of water to knock you off your feet or cause your car to hydroplane or flood your engine. You don't want that, and you don't want to be trapped in those flooded waters. It's better to just turn around. Don't try to drive through it. Don't underestimate how big a certain flooded puddle or flooded road may look. When flooded, turn around, don't drown. And number 3, make sure to stay informed. Make sure to monitor your local radar, television, weather radio, internet, social media, whatever it is you use for rapid updates. Looking at your storm planning timeline, this is important for those of you located in the plains. We're currently at the few days out stage, so make sure you start preparing now. Make sure that you have your emergency supplies, make sure you know your safe places, and make sure you have a family communication plan. The day before, that will be Saturday. Make sure to adjust your plans as necessary. Make sure your phone can receive weather alerts, and ensure your shelter is both clean and accessible. And then on the day of, that is Sunday, make sure to remain vigilant and aware of any active watches, as a warning can be issued at any time. Excuse me. Make sure to remind your family of your communication plan. Make sure you know how to evacuate and or get to safety from wherever you are. And if a warning is issued, make sure to act fast. You may only have minutes or even in some cases seconds to take action. If you don't have a severe weather plan, now is a great time to make one. So make sure you head on over to ready.gov/make-a-plan to find out how to make a severe weather plan. They are crucial, and it can save your life. So please, if you do not have a severe weather plan, make sure you go make one. That's going to be it for today. If you would like to join us on our community on Discord, feel free to. It is in our description of this video. You can join the Discord, chat with other weather enthusiasts, chat with myself or the team about this weather system, or these weather systems, I should say. And if you want to see more updates on these systems and in the future for future systems, we will be doing daily updates for the next several days as necessary on the current weather systems affecting the United States throughout the next few days. And we will obviously continue to be doing updates on weather systems in the future. So please hit that subscribe button. It does help the channel out. And also you can watch more of our updates as they come in. So once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you all have a wonderful Thursday afternoon, and please stay safe out there.